The full details on game reserves. Also, the Urban Development Corporation is improving several communities. Plus, the value of real milk. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Stay tuned.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 26. Jamaica has made $1.98 billion in gross foreign exchange earnings for the first 8 months of the year. That's 8.3% more than the $1.83 billion earned over the same period last year. The island saw the arrival of 2,828,261 visitors from January 1 to August 31 this year. And there's been a 6.9% increase in stopover arrivals and a 5.1% increase for the first 8 months of the year when compared to the same period last year. Prime Minister Andrew Holness revealed the figures at Sunday's launch of the 27th Jamaica Product Exchange, JPEX.
Through business-to-business exchanges like JPEX, we are positioning the tourism industry to continuously generate higher growth rates in both visitor arrivals and earnings as we respond to new demographics and new spending patterns. We must ensure that we deliver on all aspects of our offerings.
Approximately 62 buyer companies, 105 buyer delegates, 99 supplier companies, and 246 supplier delegates participated in Jamaica's premier business-to-business trade show. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is calling on the church community to use its reach and resources to help fight crime. Reiterating his willingness to partner with faith-based organizations in the crime-fighting effort, Mr. Holness urged the church to share what they know with the police.
Everyone in here can play your part by anonymously calling Crime Stop if you have information about where guns are hidden. The security forces are well-trained, they are well-missioned, but they are greatly now accountable. Your information will be safe and you will be rewarded.
Mr. Holness was speaking Sunday at the West Jamaica Conference Western Leadership Conference in Mount Salem, St. James. The function also served as the opening of the group's office where 7,000 youth are expected to receive mentorship. And a call is being made for volunteerism to be mandatory at the primary and secondary levels of the school system. Addressing the American Women's Group luncheon recently, wife of the Prime Minister, Juliet Holness, said every child should be required to participate in a voluntary activity, which would be added to their report card each year. Mrs. Holness emphasized that volunteerism builds character and helps students to become more responsible and have a sense of belonging.
The act of volunteering attaches and fosters a deeper sense of caring for each other. And if you can teach children to start caring for each other, it is becoming something that would be grounded in their roots. And it will be so much easier for us to care for each other as adults.
Mrs. Holness also stressed the importance of children being part of mentorship programs, adding that it provides them with a positive outlook on life. Government has invested over $1.8 million to renovate and outfit the chemistry lab at the St. Mary Technical High School with equipment. The work was carried out by Petrojam and includes infrastructure repairs, installation of new cupboards, tables, gas and water lines. In his remarks at the opening ceremony on Wednesday, Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Dr. Andrew Wheatley said the renovations are in keeping with the government's focus on science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM subjects. Minister Wheatley said these areas will be the catalyst to drive real economic growth and development.
For Jamaica to really build out what we have been talking about or calling the knowledge-based digital society, we have to ensure that we train our students in the STEM subjects. We must ensure that we put in place the necessary support mechanism for us to attain our rightful place among the best in this world.
And finally, the Caribbean Maritime Institute CMI is to receive university status on Thursday at an official Charter Day ceremony to be held at the National Arena in Kingston. The new status of the institution follows the passage of the Caribbean Maritime University CMU bill in Parliament earlier this year.
Its purpose is to advance education, training, and research in the area of maritime studies, with a particular focus on the development of capacity building in various aspects of shipping, logistics, and related fields, the certification of seafarers, the promotion of awareness of maritime safety and security, the protection of maritime environment, and the promotion of efficiency in international shipping for the benefit of the people of Jamaica, of the Caribbean, and the wider international community.
Education Minister Ruel Reid was speaking at a JIS think tank on Tuesday. He added that the university status will put the CMI in a better position to access financing.
The university status will allow for CMI to be eligible for global grant funding from various agencies and entities worldwide, which will enable the CMI, now CMU, to better administer its functions and perform its role as a national economic driver through education, training, and certification.
The CMI, which started in 1980 with 30 students, now has a population of just under 5,000. It's the only international entity approved for maritime training in Jamaica. Meanwhile, Executive Director of CMI, Dr. Fritz Pinnock, said the university will diversify the tertiary landscape.
We are now looking to be exporters in this sector. And through many initiatives, and as we grow centers of excellence, like we'll later talk about here, the FESTO Didactic Center, which is a center for mechatronics, we'll be offering new skill sets, new trades, new opportunity with global certification. We'll be attracting people from all across the world to come here in Jamaica to be trained and certified.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Clean, beautiful beaches and oceans have always been an important part of life. We can make a contribution whether we live on the shoreline or miles away.
The game bird shooting season closed on Sunday. However, there is still much to be aware of as it pertains to wildlife and disturbing their habitat. There are areas considered as game reserves, where not only birds are protected, but other forms of wild creatures. Watch this.
Here, birds are at rest. Wild animals make their home. The inquisitive eye gets its full share of rich colors, and at times, man and animal venture into a game of hide and seek.
A game reserve is a protected area of land where birds are with part of their habitat where they would nest and so on, and it's not legal to shoot in those areas.
A game reserve is an area that the birds do their nesting.
A game reserve is a place where the birds them live there.
It's where people hunt birds and things like that. I don't remember anymore.
A game reserve is a place that I can't go. You're not allowed to shoot there, you're not allowed to fish there, you're not allowed to do anything to destroy the environment there.
A game reserve is a parcel of land or body of water or an area comprising both land and water within which the hunting of birds or any other animals is strictly prohibited. It's also illegal to bring into these game reserves any weapons or dogs for hunting, or even to take the nest of a bird.
In Jamaica, game reserves are monitored by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
Game reserves are like a refuge for game birds in particular, where they can escape all the hunting activities that are occurring on the island. They're also good roosting areas and breeding areas for these birds. In addition, some of these areas are also areas where a lot of endangered birds are, and we actually don't want any hunting activities in there in case there is accidental or illegal hunting of these birds. A lot of these game reserves do have many other species there. Another endangered species that's come to mind when we speak of wetlands, for example, is the endangered American crocodile. And we know a lot of people have some fear of the crocodile, and we just don't want that human-crocodile interactions because the crocodile always comes out on the losing end. So it's always good to ensure that these areas are no shooting areas, no hunting areas.
Forest reserves are also considered game reserves as well.
There are 19 game reserves across the island, and we are currently at the Amity Hall and Goat Island Game Reserves, and this one in particular is a little interesting in that it's the only game reserve that incorporates both land and a body of water. Over here is actually a part of the game reserve, and in the background there, that's the Great Goat Island, and so between the mainland here and the Great Goat Island, this body of water is also a no shooting area.
So other than this, where are the other game reserves located on the island? There is the Great Morass Game Reserve in Holland Bay, St. Thomas. In St. Catherine, the Portmore and Greater Portmore and Cabaretta Point Game Reserves. In Clarendon, the Long Island, West Harbour Peak Bay and Mason River Savannah Game Reserves. Bordering on Clarendon and Manchester is the Alligator Pond, Gut River and Canoe Valley Game Reserves. Also in Manchester is the Reigate Game Reserve. Over in St. Elizabeth, there is the Black River Upper and Lower Morass Game Reserves, as well as the Parratee Great Morass and Stanmore Hill Game Reserves. Bordering on Westmoreland and Hanover in Negril, there is the Great Morass Game Reserve. In Montego Bay, St. James, there is the Bogue Lagoon Creek Game Reserve, while over in the west, in the parish of Trelawney, is the Glistening Waters Game Reserve. Portland is home to the Fairy Hill Port Antonio Game Reserve, while St. Anne, Jamaica's Garden Parish, has the Knapdale Game Reserves. There is also the Kingston and St. Andrew Game Reserves.
On our NEPA website, for example, you can actually find maps of all these game reserves, and it's important for persons to know exactly where they are, because sometimes people would create new tracks and there won't be a sign necessarily at that new track. So it's important to know exactly where you are.
You're not allowed to hunt there, and if I was to go in there with my weapon to hunt and you found me, I could go to jail, so I won't go in there.
No shooting zone, you can't shoot there. If NEPA catch you, you go to jail.
That's right. These hunters know the law well, which declares that any person found in a game reserve in possession of any animal, bird, bird's eggs, or nests will be presumed to be in violation of the Wildlife Protection Act. This can attract a maximum fine of $100,000, 12 months imprisonment, or both, if convicted by a resident magistrate.
So for each game reserve, there is actually a buffer around the game reserve of 50 meters. So persons are required to observe a 50-meter zone around each game reserve where no hunting is allowed or no trapping of birds or animals is allowed. We are along the edge of the Amity Hall and Goat Island Game Reserve, and this is actually the boundary, one of the boundary lines, this canal right here, and so no hunting is allowed within 50 meters of this canal, and everything over here is actually a part of the game reserve where no hunting is allowed.
There are signs at the entrance to game reserves. Identifying one is an easy feat. For more information on game reserves, contact the National Environment and Planning Agency at 754-7540 or visit their website at nepa.gov.jm.
Slow down, drivers, you're moving too fast. Listen, we drive the cars. Cars don't drive us. So watch it now. Pay attention to the road rules. Don't be a fool and don't bother with the careless overtaking. Just take your time on our Jamaica road and make we have a nice place. See? This is Taurus Riley, your singer and the recording artist. Help me to save lives.
Island-wide, the Urban Development Corporation, or UDC, is improving the lives of many through its various corporate social activities. Learn more in the upcoming feature.
Making development happen is not just a tagline for the Urban Development Corporation UDC, it's a mandate they operate by. And developments undertaken by the UDC are not always on a national level to build out infrastructures, but also seeing to the social upliftment of people.
Development is no development unless human beings are developed and taken care of. Any infrastructure development or physical development is irrelevant unless the people benefit from it.
So earlier in 2017, the UDC staff and management visited the Marie Atkins Night Shelter for the Homeless and carried out much-needed improvement to the facility. This marked the start of the corporation's corporate social responsibility program at that facility.
Over 300 people come and rest in the area that is behind me. What we've done, we've painted it, we've cleaned it up, we've done some refurbishing to make them a little bit more comfortable. To my left and behind, the bathroom facilities that are here, we've improved them, make sure that they're comfortable.
The painting of the tables that they use, the flooring, it was redone. The bathrooms where pipes were put in, they also painted the bathroom. They're fixing windows around the front. There's a staircase that goes up to the male department. They are there fixing it. So they are doing a lot, which we are very grateful for.
The Marie Atkins Night Shelter is named after the former mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, the late Marie Atkins. Established 23 years ago, the facility is a refuge for displaced and dispossessed persons. Located at 65 Hanover Street in downtown Kingston, it falls under the Poor Relief Department of the KSAC.
I had an opportunity to speak to the matron, and she is so happy for the effort and the work and how it has benefited those persons who make use of the facility. Words, it appears, was not adequate to express her joy. We have determined that we will not leave the Marie Atkins shelter alone and that we are going to mobilize our staff and ourselves to continue to assist and to improve the place.
Already we've identified that they have some challenges with the roofing.
A project charter is currently being developed and work will begin in 2017 to improve the facility through painting, tiling, roof works, and termite treatment.
We also are going to look at, where possible, additional space that can be built to house more persons that are at risk, and also working with the KSAC to identify other opportunities for taking care of those who are at risk and the mentally ill and homeless.
The Urban Development Corporation strongly believes that people are very important to the redevelopment of downtown Kingston, and by improving their social capacity, it will enable them to better partake or appreciate the developments as they happen. The UDC also took time out to enjoy the workday, a face-off between the singer and the dancers.
One hop this time. One hop this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot, 2 stumps. Slide to the left.
Strangest feeling I'm feeling. But your love we will always believe in. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always been the best. There's no life in the West. So I know the East is the best. All the propaganda they spread. Don't feel African fest.
The Urban Development Corporation, enabling social development in downtown Kingston. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 656-8031 or visit their website at www.udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Did you know regular physical activity controls your weight, reduces your risk of cardiovascular diseases, reduces your risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, reduces your risk of some cancers, strengthens your bones and muscles, and increases your chance of living longer? Get active, get fit, stay healthy.
Your nutritional well-being is vital. It's important to eat on time, have the right portion size when having meals, and ensure that these meals are balanced. Milk is one key substance that will help. After all, it's good for building strong and healthy bones and much more. Get the facts now.
Hazelnut brown, white, spotted, horns or not, they produce that nutritious substance which makes strong bones and teeth. There is a drive on to have Jamaicans drinking more local cow's milk. For the last few decades, the consumption of Jamaica's cow's milk has declined significantly. The annual production of local milk has dropped from 600 farmers producing 38.8 million litres in 1992 to less than 200 farmers supplying approximately 12 million litres in 2015. At the same time, the consumption of milk and milk substitutes account for more than 60 million litres annually, 90% of it imported.
That's what point we were able to say, but I don't think it was really a glut. It was the importation of the cheap milk powder. I know the milk powder doesn't have to be refrigerated. They were overlooking the nutritional value of cow's milk.
The decline in local milk consumption has affected several areas, causing a high import bill and a decline in employment opportunities.
I experienced milk a whole cool, and I'm talking about like 300 gallons of milk. And you have to just run it down the drain like that. And when you throw the milk, you still have to pay the workers, still have to pay electricity, still have to pay all your bills. Because you can't go to nobody who tells you have to throw the milk.
It also affects the cows, as the decline in consumption causes fewer milking sessions, forcing the breasts to become painful from an excess of milk. Despite the perils of the industry, there are farmers who refuse to be cowed by the appeal of cheaper imports. Oral Wallace is one such farmer who has put his life on the line to stay in the dairy business.
It was started in about 1969 by my father, Mr. Rupert Wallace, and my mom, Miss Pansy Wallace. They bring it up to about the year 2000 when I took over, for about 2002. The major challenge for dairy farmers, I think, is period-lasting. Because at night I can't sleep. I have to be up there. They make after me 2 times, I think about within about 3 months period. And they came with their guns, but I had to take cover, and afterward they were evaded. Milk industry, it's basically you have to be a lover of dairying to be in it, because the dairy industry is not an easy road.
Gulping the white substance to the last sip will be a daily routine for every Jamaican if these entities have their way. 4 companies have formed a partnership to revive the island's dairy industry under what's called the Drink Real Milk campaign. The government-owned Jamaica Dairy Development Board, CB Group through its subsidiary Nutrimix, Sept Limited with its Surge Island Dairies, and Newport for San Jamaica Limited have come together to increase the production and consumption of Jamaican milk over the next 10 years. The target is to produce 20 million litres annually.
The industry itself was really degenerating quite significantly. It's a cause for concern for everybody.
The partners aim to overhaul the industry on 2 levels, production and consumption. The production strategy seeks to improve access to better genetic material, enhance animal health, and institute customized feeding programs and proper pasture management. The Jamaica Dairy Development Board has stepped in boldly to help in this area.
The Dairy Sector Revitalization Project, flagship project or activity is the the concessionary loan program, where farmers have difficulty in accessing loans at reasonable rates. So we have instituted a program where we allow farmers funds, loans through the Jamaica Dairy Development, the DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica and its affiliates, where farmers can access loans at the rate of 5%, which is quite competitive. There's a 5 million threshold for the individual borrower. And for corporate entities, it's 10 million.
The Dairy Board has also committed more than $20 million to deal with prairie larceny in partnership with the Agriculture Ministry. On the consumption side, the campaign seeks to encourage purchasing of fresh, locally produced milk to support the island's farmers, promoting the health benefits of drinking milk and sharing additional benefits of drinking cow's milk versus powdered milk.
Over the past few years, milk has been a little bit quiet, and so everyone else, all the milk substitutes have been in your face and telling you, oh, you know, you should drink us instead. But the reality is, there's nothing like real milk, and what we're trying to get people to understand as well is drink Jamaican real milk.
Once you let the people aware of the nutritional values of it, it will go right back up. I was almost born on a farm, and from I've born, I've been drinking cow's milk. And do I look sick? Not at all.
Supporting the local milk industry provides jobs, increases the country's economic wealth, and nourishes our bodies. Persons interested in entering dairy farming may contact the Jamaica Dairy Development Board at 618-7107 or 927-1731-50.
Almost lose everything. Luckily, I have my life.
I've been living in the BVI now for over 22 years. Oh my God, it's devastated. It's a nightmare. It's depressing. Is everything that you can think about that you have never experienced in your life. But when you go through it, it's like, wow, thank God for life.
It's bad. A lot of experience. I have no water, no lights. You got to eat stuff. You cannot get cold stuff, you gotta just keep it as it is, you know, it's just terrible, you know. Place is pretty bad. Almost everything is gone, you know. Everything, school, hospital, and everything is gone, you know, it's just terrible, you know. But we're so glad that everybody, most people still alive and still doing well, you know, but it's not nice, you know, terrible.
We couldn't get any flight out. No commercial flight was running, so when I heard that the government was sending a flight for us, I feel wonderful.
This is where the magazine closes for today, but for more information on any matter mentioned in today's program, click on our webpage, jis.gov.jm. There you may find info on government programs and policies. For more television features, visit our YouTube channel. We're also on various social media sites. You may also download our app from the Google Play Store and the Apple Store to stay informed while you're on the go. I'm Theodore Henry. Do have a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.